Hello there and welcome
to the new channel.
Here to help you see
the new you.
My name is Carmine Ortega.
Dennis Calamba.
This is Nato Agbayani.
My name is Juan Lu.
I'm Chino.
I'm Trisha.
This is Apple Manansala.
This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez.
This is Attorney Sheila Santiago.
This is Angie.
This is Orgami.
My name is Dante Salama.
This is Jesse Francis Rebostillo.
I'm Dania Cunha.
Mon Mendoza.
I am Mapet Erhino.
I'm Leo Bryan. Mike.
Nice for beer.
Sir Al Ian Barcelona.
Marvin Salazar. This is Sunny Haldon.
Heidi Lumainos.
This is Ivan Jude.
Patrick Geronimo.
Alan Perez.
My name is Erwin Ursua.
Mine is Bob.
My name is Lloyd Luna and this is
Future.
The Talk.
Family Business.
The Puppet Stories.
After Shift.
PNC Town Hall.
YOLO.
Marketplace.
The Home Buyer.
HR Hotline.
Danny Art Show.
Healthline.
Foreign Affairs.
COVID Stories. Awesome Day Show.
Thank you.
Money and More.
Cybernext.
Women at Work.
Win Within.
Food Project.
The Big Picture.
Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the new channel. We are here to help you see the new you. My name is Michelle Mras, and this is the world premiere of Mental Shift. Good evening from Colorado, and to those of you in the Philippines, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Before I bring on my guest tonight, my dear friend Rich Schur, I'd like to show you a little video so you can get to know him and his business.
She was tired of tripping over clutter. They just downsized Mom's house. He needed money, but he didn't have time to sell his items online. What do they all have in common? They all have more cash in their pockets and more room in their homes, thanks to Schur Success Group, the all-in-one solution to turning your assets into cash. It's secure and local. Schur Success Group finds buyers for your items fast and at fair market value. They can even help ship the items to their new homes. Schur Success Group. Call or visit SchurSuccessGroup.com to get started today.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Mental Shift. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you'll get to meet my guest tonight, Rich Schur. Rich, where are you?
I'm right here, darling. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. I'm so glad you were able to join me on my world premiere of Mental Shift, because you are such an instrumental part of me even getting into this world of microphones and, video screens, and I wanted you to be with me.
I knew you were going to blame me for that, but I'm honored to be here with you. Your new venture, you're talking about mental shifts. You've done so many since I've known you, and you've grown so much. This is truly an honor for me to be part of this with you.
I'm excited that you're here. And what I wanted to share with all of you who are watching is Rich is who I blame for giving me my very first microphone. I was a very quiet quality examiner when he met me. I thought that I liked the quiet and I didn't like to be in front of people until one day he said, "Michelle, we're closing out an auction here." And he handed me a mic and walked away. And I got on that mic and went, I never want to let go of a mic again. It's all Rich's fault. But I want to call out your lovely wife, Shannon, because it was Shannon who saw the potential in me. And I want to shout out that this woman is amazing, because not only did she see potential in me, but she saw potential in you.
Yeah, she did.
And now, what I want to talk about tonight is people have so many mental shifts through their life, and they don't really recognize them until they get to the other end and do, oh, yeah, that happened. With you, this is what always makes me giggle. You were a Chicago cop.
Well, it was suburbs, but yeah, close enough. But yeah, and the shift from cop to auctioneer is kind of strange, but it didn't happen overnight. So happy to chat about whatever you want. And you and I have gone through some of these mental shifts together, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And the shift I had, quite frankly, with everything that I've gone through in my careers, plural, because I'm occupationally ADD. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. It's been a journey. And quite frankly, the biggest thing I've learned in this journey is I don't care what comes next. I'm going to embrace it with open arms and see what happens. Because every change I've made, every mental shift I've had to go through has worked out one way or the other for the best.
And that's what's so magical about mental shifts and walking into what's next, right? And I love to hear your story about what brought you from the world of investigating, and how did that evolve? Because that is what makes you so special, and that's why you're so dear to my heart, is the journey you made to where you are now. Because you say, I'm an auctioneer. You're not just an auctioneer. I mean, you've done so much more. So please share a glimpse of your journey from where you were to where you are now.
Well, I didn't leave the police department and pick up a microphone and start calling bids. That was the farthest thing from my mind. In fact, until I met Shannon when I moved to Colorado, pretty much didn't know what an auctioneer was. I'd been to 2 auctions my entire life. One was when I was a little kid with my dad and he was buying some equipment. I barely remembered that it was an auction, let alone any detail. And the other auction that I was at before I met Shannon was a fundraising charity auction, and I spent way too much money to support the March of Dimes, and I don't regret a minute of it, but I never thought twice about that as a career. I left law enforcement to go into law enforcement education. I left law enforcement education to go to higher education. I went from higher education to the corporate world, where I went back into public safety training, and eventually I got tired of it and took a job in Colorado in human resources. That didn't last all too long because it was with a high-tech firm that kind of went kaput. Started my own HR consulting company. Actually, I started it years before that, but I went full-time with it. And then I met Shannon. And the beauty of my career at the time was I had flexibility. And I just started hanging out with Shannon at auctions, not to be an auctioneer, not to be an employee. I just thought she was kind of cute and wanted to hang out with her. So I spent time at auctions. And much like you, Michelle, one day somebody stuck a microphone in my head and said, go do it. I'd been around the auction long enough to hear it, to listen to it, and to see some really, really skilled auctioneers. I just mimicked what I heard. And apparently I did okay because Shannon came out of the office, the client came out of the office, the staff came out of the office. Like, who's on the microphone? That guy has some talent, which I didn't recognize. Mental shift here was I had no clue even what I was listening to. But Shannon convinced me to go to auction school. And yes, there are auction schools all over the country, if not the world. And I went to auction school and I did fairly well. And I entered the career full time, became a state champion auctioneer as a rookie. Several years later, I became a state champion auctioneer as a seasoned vet, have joined the board of the auction industry, either state or national. And now I travel the country teaching new auctioneers and new property appraisers. So I'm having the time of my life. I blame it all on my wife. Shannon, if you're watching, thank you very much. There's more to the career, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But the mental shift that I had to make in this industry was, first off, understanding that there was a whole industry out here. And second, that I had a place in it. I think the skills aside, recognizing that this is something I could do, something I would enjoy doing, certainly doing it with my wife made it that much more special. But yeah, I guess, if I look at it that way, the mental shift for me here was accepting the fact that I could be an auctioneer and I could be a good one and I can make a living at it and I could love what I do.
So talking about that, for the audience who doesn't know what an auctioneer is, because when I met you and you said, you want to go into auctioneering with us? I went, what is an auctioneer? Because when I think auctioneer, I think fast talking people who sell cars or cattle. But what you brought me in for was more like fundraising. So what is an auctioneer? What do they do?
An auctioneer simply sells product or sells goods or services through competitive bidding. And whether it's online through electronic bidding, much like eBay used to be primarily, or on stage, or right now everything is virtual, an auctioneer gets people to compete against others to set the market value of a product and purchase it. When we brought you on, we were specifically looking at fundraising for nonprofits. So very different than a cattle auction, very different than a car auction, different chance, and that's the fast talking we do, different techniques, different styles, and each circumstance, everything that we're selling has a different need for how we do our jobs.
Okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot because when I worked with you, we did the fundraising for nonprofits and it was fun and we would get the energy going in a room and they'd have all, it'd be at the galas and people are all dressed up and we do, hey, you look at that. Ooh, look at that. And we would play each other and play on everyone in the room and everyone would bring the price higher and higher. And I remember the first time you said, Betty Butter bought some butter, but she said her butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, then it makes my batter bitter. Okay,
you need to practice, darling.
Do that. Do it just once because it's amazing.
Well, you need the background on it. Auctioneers, when we're on the microphone, we have to speak fast, we have to speak clearly and articulately, and we have to do tongue twisters to train. So one of the most common ones in any auctioneer who's ever done any training has met Betty Botter. She's an incredible lady. But the tongue twister goes, Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better batter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So 'tis better. Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. And that's easy to do when you're taking 10 breaths like I just did. But as we practice, and every auctioneer will tell you, they've probably done that conservatively a zillion times. Just a little exaggeration, it's probably a billion, but it has to be done quickly, and this is where the articulation comes in. So Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So it is better. Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. So that's still a little slow because I'm a little out of practice. I don't do as much live bid calling as I used to, but that's one of the basics. And I still remember watching you try it the first time and Yeah, we're lucky we got half the words right and there was no profanity. So I was pretty proud of you.
I'm more into rapping, Rapper's Delight. I can do those kind of things, but that Betty Butter bitter batter thing always threw me.
But that's what we do to train our brains and to train our bodies so that when we're up calling bids, we're not thinking about the mechanics. We're thinking about where my bid's at, who is the next bidder, who is the last bidder. Does my ring person, which is one of the roles you played, do you have a bidder I need to pay attention to over there while I'm looking at a bidder over on this side? So our bid calling, the chant has to come out automatically. The Betty Botters and all of the numbers drills, practicing, 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, all those things are to train our brain to be automatic so that we can concentrate on the product we're selling, or when we're doing benefits, the funds we're raising.
Yeah, and that's what's so magical about that. Now, what you may not realize is part of that bantering that we would do across very large ballrooms taught me to watch people. And I learned to watch people's nuances and their body movements. And it's one of the things I teach as a coach now is to watch your audience, no matter how big or how small it is. Watch their eyes, watch their body, because you can see when they're interested and when they're not interested, or, whatever it is. And just those little tiny things that they did. And I remember the day I realized it, I think we were at it was at a gala for like pets. It was like a rescue.
Humane Society, yeah.
Humane Society. And I remember I just realized what I've been doing. I'm watching people. I'm watching hundreds of people, and I'm watching them from the corner of my eye, seeing what they're doing. And now as a speaker, I'm an international speaker, I do it on the stage for what I do now. So that's why I wanted you on the show, because being an auctioneer prepped me for being an inspirational speaker, because I read people so fast, and it was through the auctioneering world. And I love how things that you don't even think would relate.
They tie together. Go back to when I was a street cop, reading people's body language was a defensive mechanism. It was somewhat paranoia, but reading people's physical stance, reading their eyes, reading what they're doing kept me safe. It kept me alive. And my gorgeous bride, Shannon, as my mentor as an auctioneer, one of the things that she really saw in me, and what she is extremely good at, is as an auctioneer, like you said, we need to read people. We need to know that they've had enough of me, quit pushing, or I'm still thinking about bidding, give me another minute, or don't talk to me, check with my boss and see if she wants to bid. But being able to read that body language makes us that much more efficient and that much more powerful. If we take it to the fundraising world for the benefits and the nonprofits, it helps us be more entertaining. And quite frankly, in the fundraising world, it's not about how fast I call bids or what my chant is. It's how we relate to the audience, very much like you do as a professional speaker. I can stand up and call bids all day, but if I'm not connecting with the people who are listening to me, I'm out of business.
Exactly. And the same with me in the world of, entertainment. You have to be able to connect to the audience and quickly. Now, with auctioneering and what you do, not only are you are entertainment, but you are raising money for very huge, amazing causes. And I remember that being quite the passion for you and Shannon to give back to community. And that was the other thing that I loved about Schur Success, is because not only do I get a group of people who care about whatever cause I have, but you raise money faster than, would like the principal to stand up, please, and, talk about whatever. And they do. Who would like to buy that toaster? And everyone's like, well, the toaster's $30, so forget it. But you would come and oh, this toaster is beautiful. Look how shiny it is. Hey, Bob wants it for $500. What? Well, I'll buy it for $550. Just to see people and the way people interact to one up each other.
Oh, yeah, we love that. And take the benefit world out of it, just auctions in general. The main difference between an auction and buying anything retail is at an auction, the minute you place a bid, you own it. In your mind, this is mine. I own this. And when somebody bids against me, you're not getting it for me. I'm going to bid one more time, and one more time, and one more time. And at the fundraising level, we rely on that. In a commercial auction, I'm never going to let somebody bid against themselves or bid twice in a row. It's just not good business. At a fundraiser, I'm going to point to them and go, you just bid against yourself. You want to do it again? And some people go, uh-huh. And the next thing you know, I've raised an extra 10 or 20 or $50,000 for my client for their nonprofit. And that's why we're there. So I'm unapologetic when it comes to getting people to open up their wallets. Frankly, I'll pry them open if I have to. But my job there is to take that $50 toaster that they can go down to the corner store and get for $49.95 and make them pay me $1,000 at the nonprofit because they're donating money to a cause. They're just getting something as a trinket to say, look what I got. So yeah, Shannon and I, we absolutely love the fundraising part of it. Sadly, the past year with COVID here in the US, it's kind of killed the galas. We can't get people together. So we've gone to doing it virtual online, and it's here to stay for a little while. But the whole point of doing those auctions, have people feel good about what they're doing, entertain them so they're having fun, put a smile on their face. And when I stare at them and go, you want to bid one more time, don't you? Just give me another $10,000, and they feel good about doing it. That's what we exist to do.
Now, I know you're based in Colorado, but there are auctioneers around the world, and you've chained them from around the world. So if you're out there watching, you're like, I could raise some money for our next gala, and maybe we can do it, virtually. Yes, you can. Yeah. I mean, reach out to Rich. Maybe he can connect you to somebody in your country, in your part of the world, your city, or heck, you can just call him. And if you're in the United States, you're even easier.
Yeah, pretty much. Shannon and I, and when you were part of our company, you were part of this too. We belong to the National Auctioneers Association, which is a misnomer because it's international. We deal with auctioneers from all over the planet, but we're all interconnected. We all know each other. And if somebody from California, I had it an hour ago, so I need an auctioneer in Las Vegas, Rich, who do you know? And I'll pick up the phone and make a connection. If it's here in Colorado, I'm your guy. If it's somewhere else in the country where I've worked or I'm legally authorized to work, I'll go do it somewhere else. Don't matter to me. It's to me, this is not a job. This is fun, and I get paid to do what I love to do. The benefits, of course, are just one small part of what we do as auctioneers. But man, that's fun. And Michelle, you got to brag a little bit about yourself too, doing that work with us and being a professional ringman is the term, but a bid spotter. So, I know you had fun being out in the audience and picking on people and encouraging them to participate and bid more. And that teamwork helped us raise a lot of money for some good causes.
It was an absolute blast. I mean, it's really what I learned, to read audiences and still pay attention to what's happening on the stage, listening to your numbers and watching the faces and keying them together. There's a magic in there. And there was this teamwork synergy that works so well. And I'm glad that, when I left and started doing other crazy things and running into the political world, why did I do that? I don't know. But when I went to the political world to, test the waters, that you were still there. And that, you were helping me help my politicians with their things. I'm like, okay, how are they going to do this? How can we do this? You are such a breath of information. You were always so willing to help and to help guide people to a better opportunity or to a better option for whatever they were doing. And that's the other thing that was magic about you and Shannon. It was that it was more than just the business. It was what you could give back.
This is our life. This is our community. And much like here, being involved in the Chamber of Commerce, being involved in the local charities at the board level is great, but the auction industry is our family. And I'm going to tell you a little side story, and if Shannon's watching, she'll be embarrassed. But when I started dating Shannon, her family wasn't around. She'd been divorced. I'd been divorced. Her family was the Auctioneers Association. And shortly after we started dating, I joined her at the annual Auctioneers Convention here in Colorado. And I met some of the people that were respected in the industry, some of the industry leaders. And I found out several years later, not shortly after, several years later, Shannon said, oh yeah, that was your audition. And I said, what do you mean? She said that had you not impressed my auction family, you were history. And this industry is so tight. We take care of each other. Yes, we're competitors. Yes, we fight over projects and jobs, but at the end of the day, we're family and we're going to help each other out. And there are so many people in this industry that have mentored me and mentored Shannon that to me, giving back isn't something that I'm required to do. It's the only right thing to do, because if I can share what I have, somebody else has my level of success and enjoyment. Hey, that's fantastic. I love it. I'm just having fun.
Well, I'm so glad you shared that, because yes, that the Auctioneer family is tight. I'm still connected to a lot of them because I don't want to let them go.
They don't want to let go of you either. So,
well, let's break for a commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about, well, how me and Rich and the auction family are connected.
Sounds good.
Welcome back, and we'd love you to please watch all of our live stream shows and on the new channel. And the list of them are the Big Picture Monday through Friday at 7 p.m., the HR Hotline on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at noon, the Family Business Saturdays at 4, the Fourth Project Saturdays at 6, Uspang Beauty Saturday at 5:30, COVID Stories, the Market Leader U-Turn, was it the Home Buyer, the Puppet Stories, and TNC Marketplace, YOLA, sorry, and Money and More, and Couple Goals. And then, the Talk After Shift, they're right in front of me, Win Within, Danny, and Foreign Affairs, Healthline, Well Home, Women at Work, Awesome Day, Cyber Next, Tech U, and the Town Hall, One Day, and of course, Mental Shift. We'll see you on the live streams. Thank you for joining us. Again, this is Michelle Mras, and this is the world premiere of Mental Shift. And our guest tonight is Rich Schur of Schur Success Group.
Hey, I was digging the music at the break there, the commercial.
I knew I danced to it all the time. Well, I'm so glad you joined me tonight because, you know, our lives have intertwined for what? It's been like 12 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like 3 weeks sometimes, other times it seems like 12 years. But it's been a long time, and I'm the better for having met you and spent time with you. And gosh, I hate COVID because I miss seeing you and hugging you. But
I know.
It's we're this close, almost.
But yet so far.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so cool because together we've grown together. And I, again, like I said, when you handed me that mic, I went from looking at large books of people, of businesses and their platforms and what they did, huge books. And I would study them and I'd go back and give them evaluations. And Shannon and you came up, the two of you came up and said, what are you doing? And I went, what I'm naturally good at.
I'm going to use the word that we defined you back then. That was geek. You were a quality control geek nerd. Your face was buried in numbers and charts. And what Shannon and I saw, which I think took you a little bit of time to recognize, is that your gift wasn't analysis. Your gift wasn't crunching numbers. Your gift was how you interacted with people and how instantly when you spoke to somebody, there was a connection, a bond. And Shannon and I saw that, and we had the conversation going, she'd be great for our team. And the next question was, well, what will she do? And we both kind of looked at each other and we said, I don't know, let's get her on board first and then figure out where she'll fit in. But we saw it in you right away. And then once you figured it out that you were okay with talking to people and with encouraging people and supporting people, I think that nonprofit world where we're raising funds for good causes was a great bridge for you because you saw that you can make a difference in people's lives. And look at you now. I'm so proud of you.
Well, I'm laughing because I've done a lot through Toastmasters, the speaking group. And
yes.
It was Shannon who told me to go to it because I remember you sending me in to go talk to like the heads of some fundraising group. And I went, you're not going to make me go talk to these people alone, are you? You're like, yeah, you'll be fine, go. I'm like, but. And I remember being terrified. And Shannon's like, why don't you go to Toastmasters and learn how to talk? You're fine, but go. And I went to Toastmasters and that just exploded my world because once I realized that speaking was a gift that was natural to me when I didn't know it. I thought everybody could do this. Everybody can, stand on a stage and talk, and it's not a big deal. But to go into Toastmasters and learn the nuances and, I don't say a whole bunch of ums and uhs naturally. So
very good, yes.
I think what was my big word when we used to do trainings was okay. Yeah. I would finish every sentence with okay. I didn't say so or it was okay.
I remember.
I used to say anya, anonya, what? The Filipino would come out in me when I would say those kind of things. But you were like, Michelle, stop saying okay. And so I got rid of okay, and it was like, poof, the world changed for me. And so many mental shifts together. And I wanted you on the show because I wanted to say thank you to the world, to this guy, and to Shannon. I didn't pull Shannon in because she doesn't want to be on screen, but she is so magical on a mic.
Oh gosh, yes. I've been blessed to have some tremendous mentors, and she's one of them. But you keep wanting to give us credit for who you are naturally, and that's just not right. All we did was see what you were capable of and made sure you saw the opportunities that you already had in front of you. And we didn't want to deny it. We knew that there was something magical about who you are. And I know this is the world premiere of your show, and you're going to have plenty of time over the next however many years you do this to get your audience to know you. But they really need to know some of the other things that you've had to go through and that we've seen you go through, and we've seen you grow. And quite frankly, one of these days, I'm going to be asking for your autograph, and I'll be able to tell people, hey, I knew her back when, and I'm already so proud of you, it doesn't matter. But we have seen a lot. You've been around for some of the industry shifts. You've been around for personal difficulties and experiences. In fact, you and Shannon were in the hospital at the same night way back when, a few years ago, after one of your incidents. And I'll let you choose to share how that as you want to.
Yeah.
But that night changed your life, and not because you wanted it to, but because it had to. And one of the lessons you've been very good at teaching people is that when things happen, you have two choices. You can accept it and figure out what to do, or you can deny it and suffer in anger and frustration. And you've been a champion at, this isn't a problem. This isn't it's an opportunity. And watching you go from those traumas to where you are today, it kind of reinforces one of the things that I've always thought, which is when something happens, another door will open. I'm not sure where it's leading, but I'm going to walk through it with my eyes open, and I'm going to welcome whatever experience comes in. Worst case scenario, it's not a great experience, but I'm going to learn something. I'm going to meet people, and that'll prepare me for the next mental shift that I have to take.
And I definitely want to share this with the audience. You know, when you go through trouble, and this is, I'll tie it back to, it was May 2014. I went into the emergency room because I was just in a car accident. And in the emergency room, I think I texted Shannon, and she says, "What hospital you're on? I'm in here too." And I'm like, "What?" And so we were in the hospital, me and my car accident. And what had she done? I mean, something crazy had happened to her, but we were in the hospital together. That night shifted my entire life. That was when I realized, 12 days later, when I stopped speaking for 18 months and couldn't walk without help, 18 months, this talkative me not being able to speak for 18 months, that was not good.
You made up for it, trust me. So
yeah, I'm making up for it now. But the whole thing about that was, that's when I realized that you have to stop apologizing for what you're not. Stop apologizing for what you thought you were supposed to become and you didn't become, and embrace who you are. And I spent those 18 months locked in my head finding me. I mean, re-examining everything and every decision, everything I've ever done, and doing, okay, do I want to do that again? No, I'm going to do something else. And I piecemealed everything I liked about my past and what I didn't like about my past, and reformed the new Michelle. So when I came out at that 18-month point, I said, I need to make a difference in the world. I can't play small anymore. Tomorrow may not be there. I mean, I almost lost my life in this car accident. And so I stopped apologizing for what I wasn't and embraced who I became and said, you know what? This is who I am. This was the girl that's been hiding inside of this bookworm that I was hiding in, and became unapologetically me. And so that's what I coach, is to get you out of that ball that you think you're supposed to be in, because we all are supposed to have a house and 2 children and be married and have a dog and half a cat. I don't know what it is, but whatever that persona we were told we were supposed to get to, I hadn't done it. So I thought I was a failure. And once that accident happened and it knocked all those fears out of me, I went, I'm going to bring this to the world. The world needs to realize that life is too short to squander on petty things. Life is meant to live. And
you've taken some incredibly bold challenges too. It's not just, I need to get out there and live. You're living to the fullest. I mean, your travels, your public speaking, you're an author. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm guessing you've done some, Times Square, Hollywood shows and dancing. But I know you're into movies. You've done a little bit of everything, but Michelle doesn't do
sci-fi movies.
Yeah, you don't do small. When you step out to do something, you take that challenge head on, and I'm not going to stop halfway. I'm not going to just put my toe in the water and see what happens. You jump in, you dive in, you swim in, and you come out on the other side smiling, happier, more successful, and that just kind of triggers you to go, ooh, what's next? And this is where you're an inspiration to me. I've grown so much in my career. Watching you, whether it's conscious or subconscious, it's like, well, hell, if Michelle can do it, I can do it. And if Michelle can step out there and do something that's totally foreign to her, so can I. And I know I can succeed because I've got some incredible people surrounding me, you being one of them. But having to kind of retrain my brain to go, it's okay. And, I kind of go back to Thomas Edison. He's never failed at anything. He just invented 1,000 things that didn't work. It's all about the attitude. And courtesy of my bride, I've tried all kinds of things. I'm an auctioneer. I'm an appraiser. I'm a real estate broker. All these things that I never dreamed I could be, would be, or want to be. And now I'm doing it as a matter of course, and I'm teaching other people how to do it. I've joined nonprofit boards. I've been in industry boards, which is one thing, but to join community organizations and help, that's a stretch for me. And I'm like, I can do this. Let's make a difference where I live, as opposed to making a difference in my industry. You're a part of that, whether you recognize it or not. And I do. I just, every time I talk to you, we talked a little bit earlier today to test the technology. I'm like, yeah, that kind of motivated me for the rest of the day, which has been a long day. But, you probably don't recognize yet the extent of the impact you have on the people around you. And if there's anything I want to see you improve, it's realizing that you are an incredible woman and what you do matters. And there are many, 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 many of us who are grateful for you.
Thank you so much.
Am I going to make you cry?
No, I refuse to cry. My thing is, after everything that's happened, because of the car accident, then I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I live big and loud. And the big thing about it is if I fall flat on my face, I played so big that I bounce.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's really the thing is, don't play small in your world because you never have tomorrow. I mean, you don't have that guarantee. So you might as well go for it. And what's the worst that's going to happen? You're not going to be doing it anymore, right? It's not a big deal.
Try something else.
Yeah, so bounce. It's just like when we're kids, we start crawling and we learn to walk. I mean, what do we do as humans? We fall. We get back up, try to crawl and walk again, fall. And as we age, we become so afraid of falling. Why? I mean, are we afraid that people are going to laugh at us? Let them laugh at us. At least I'm walking, and soon I'm going to run. And if I can run fast enough, I'm going to soar. And so don't play small in your world. The world needs you to step into who you are. Right, Rich?
First of all, I don't fall anymore. I just randomly check gravity. But you're right. And I've failed at things. I've done things that this isn't for me. And, I was a cop. I joined on thinking I'm going to spend 25, 30 years as a cop, and this is going to be my career, and I'm going to get a pension, and I'll get the gold watch when I'm done. When it turned out that wasn't my path, I was like, okay, what is my path? And my path has taken some really bizarre zigzags, but I ended up here. And, frankly, I've been doing this now for 16 years. And this is the longest I've ever worked anywhere. I don't anticipate ever stopping. Frankly, I'll probably be working until 3 or 4 days after my funeral, but this is what I love to do. And a big part of it's because I tripped, I fell, I bounced, I got up, tried something new. Hey, it works. So I'm not afraid anymore. If something happens in this career, in this industry, in this business, and I can't do it anymore, there's something else out there for me. I'll find it. I'm not worried.
Have a mental shift. Well, we'll break for another commercial and I will come back and do some close-up stuff. So let's go on to commercial and we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back, and please be sure to watch all of our live streams. There is something out there for every one of you in order to encourage you and help you become the new you. Welcome back. My name is Michelle Mras, and my guest tonight is Rich Schur. Rich, where are you?
I'm right here.
Well, I wanted to, how do I say this kindly without Shannon trying to find me? I'd like to talk about small things come in small packages.
Little things come in small packages.
We were coming back from an auction one day, and I'm going to pick on the pothole thing. We're driving down the street, and we hit a big pothole, big hole in the ground. And Shannon says, "Well, that's just silly." What? Why don't they put covers on those potholes?
We knew what she meant. We did. I love my wife dearly, and you don't have to go home tonight and deal with this. I do, but that's one of her charms. Is she'll sometimes mix metaphors or misstate things. They're entertaining. She's a great sport about it. Truth be told, I keep a log of all those things, so when I write my book, I can put them all in there. But yes, the little things in small packages was one of my favorites because that's true. Little things do, in fact, come in small packages. So,
unless you want to put very large things in small packages, and then they're like not fitting.
No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work.
We love you, Shannon. I know you're out there watching. We love you, and we just love to pick on you. And I miss those days in the car and after auctions where we would pick on you.
Yeah, I get to pay for that, but that's okay. That's
but
okay.
The other thing that Rich and I have in common is we like to quote movies and song lyrics, and we can put it into almost anything. And that was part of our fun that we used to have together. I think that was our clique. Yeah,
well, that was one of them. But yeah, remember where we first met is we were all doing customer service assessments for the Better Business Bureau. So we were doing your work, analyzing businesses to see if they were taking care of their customers. And we kind of looked at you and said, yeah, this is not where she needs to be. But gosh, we've had a lot of fun over the years, haven't we?
Yeah, we need to release a little bit so we can at least go have lunch. I need a hug. But yes. I miss my auction family. I haven't seen all of you for so long. I've been, re-evolving and changing and growing this Michelle. I always say I'm going to be the Blasian Oprah one day, and I'm on a mission.
You will be. I have no doubt. And I want, front row seats without having to pay extra for them. So
no, you're going to be running all of the galas and everything that we'll be doing to raise money for all the other fundraisers. And then you're going to find me property because you're an appraiser and you do that property thing. Find me a gigantic piece of land that we can build a huge building on and help the community even more.
You heard that, everybody. She wants me to be a real estate broker.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put it in writing because we have it recorded now.
No. Take it back. Well, I'm so glad you joined me tonight. I mean, is there any bit of words of wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience tonight?
You probably never take sleeping pills and laxatives at the same time. From you, the mental shift. I mean, the whole concept of your show is you need to train your brain that what was doesn't necessarily mean what is. And quite frankly, quit putting barriers in your own way. Which is something you've figured out incredibly well, is the only barriers we have in life are the ones we place in front of ourselves. And to see your growth and your progress, it's all because up here you decided, I can do this. And once you made that decision, not only could you, but you have, and you've done it incredibly well. And you've inspired so many others to do the same. I'm so grateful for our relationship and that I get to know you and have fun with you and tease you a little bit. But I couldn't imagine going through life anymore with the fear of I can't or I shouldn't or what's going to happen. I think the joy and the excitement now is, what's going to happen? And that's a mental shift that I've been able to make over my careers and my years. And quite frankly, once your followers and your viewers learn your story, I think you're going to change a whole lot of lives. And I'm so proud of you for that. I'm so excited for you.
Well, thank you so much for handing that mic to me. I mean, and what you said was like, it's all in your head. What you can and cannot do is all in your head. I mean, I remember for so long, most of my life, I thought because I was a woman, I could not. Because I was 5 foot, I could not. Because. I mean, there was always a because. And when I gave up the becauses and the shouldn'ts and wouldn'ts and it went, what's the worst that's going to happen? I already died about 7 times in the past 3 years. What's worse than death? Embarrassment? I don't care.
Yeah.
Falling? I don't care. Yeah. Failing? I don't care. And so that kind of opens your world to what is possible. So those of you who are watching, if you're watching us right now and you're like, I really wish I could. Okay.
Stop wishing.
Start doing. And that's really the magic of it. You can do whatever you do on your normal day. If you want to paint, if you want to sing, if you want whatever, Do it on the side until you grow your wings enough, your bravery enough to do more of it, and then do more. Not everyone's crazy like me and just jumps. Okay. I mean, I said, I'm going to swim with the whale sharks. And my sister said, you wanna? I said, let's go. We got tickets. We flew to the Philippines, we went to Palawan, and we swam with the whale sharks. Why? Because we could.
Why not?
Yeah. Save money. You know? So what is it that you want to do? Do it. Go find your way. Because I can tell you, I'm just a little old lady from Colorado who has mental shifted her way through a lot of things. And if I can do it, you can do it. And just
Amen.
like this, yeah.
Amen. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Henry Ford, and that's, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right. Mm-hmm. So that kind of sums up what I've been seeing in you, which has been fantastic.
Well, and the quote I love to use is, well, I have a couple of them. One of them is from Byron Katie. And I remember when I heard that the first time, my one of my mentors, Paul Sheely, said it to me. He said, there are 3 types of control, business in this world. There's my control, the other person's control, and God in the universes. Stay out of everyone else's business and control how you react. And when I learned that, it was like, all the things that used to upset me, all the things that scared me, I went, wait a minute, those are outside forces affecting me. If I can stop worrying about what everyone else thinks and concentrate on what makes me feel better, I can do so much more than all my insecurities. And once your brain sees that you can get past an insecurity, it allows you to do more of them more frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll end up soaring. You don't even realize you've done it.
You know, you're amazing, and I'm not blowing smoke, because I've watched you flourish, and Shannon and I are so proud of you. We're so proud that you were part of our organization, and quite honestly, you're still a part of us, whether or not you're working with us. Viewers out there watching and listening to Michelle, learn from this woman. She's experienced a lot. She's grown so much, and if you give her an opportunity, she's going to help you make that mental shift. That next step will be a little bit easier and easier every time you take it. Take advice from this woman.
Thank you so much, Rich. I mean, really, as you watch this mental shift show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30, Colorado time, and what is it, 10:30 a.m. Philippine time. Whenever you catch us every Tuesday and Thursday.
Is that tomorrow or yesterday? I can't tell.
With Philippines, it's tomorrow for us. Okay. Yeah. But as you watch Tuesdays and Thursdays, every guest that comes on has had a major mental shift, small or big, and they're going to come and share this. So like with Rich going from, policeman to auctioneer, he had so many mental shifts, and it's scary, but he moved. And every time you meet a new guest on this show, you're going to see other examples of mental shifts, how it helped them become more of them. And that's why I wanted to bring mental shift to the world, is because when COVID shut down, there were a lot of people who got scared very quickly, and we all needed a mental shift. And by watching this show, you'll learn examples of what you could do, examples or possibilities for you. It's time for a mental shift, and it's time for you to be the best version of you unapologetically. Right?
Amen.
So for those of you who are out there watching, if you can share this link and let people know that Mental Shift is on. It's on TNC. You can follow us on YouTube. Subscribe if you do that. And on the Facebook page, on the new channel, TNC, follow us, because all the shows, the big picture I've been on with Lloyd a couple of times, and, COVID stories, those are amazing. I've caught several of those. There are so many possibilities that you can learn from on TNC. And I hope you will join us, grow with us, and become the new you, the best version of you in the world that needs you now. Find your happiness. Right, Rich?
Yeah. This is why you're doing what you're doing. You said it so well.
Well, and keep in mind, Rich, if you ever need another bid spotter, call me in.
You're on the list, my friend. And quite frankly, we'd love to have you come back. And when the opportunity presents itself, you and I will be on the phone. We'll do it.
Because I am looking forward to the day of being like 15 coats and big boots and hanging out at the car auctions, or even better, in a really beautiful gown, wearing high heels with my makeup on and my diamond earrings on, and getting people to bid against each other.
Yes. Yeah, we've done it all, from sub-zero in the freezing, driving snow and rain to sell cars, to being in the tuxedo in the bright spotlight in the ballroom. I kind of prefer the ballroom. So you'll be back. I have faith you're going to be back on the team one of these days.
I will be, and I will gladly join you. And maybe I'll be the speaker at one of your events. I just put that in there.
Possibility.
I did. Well, and what I want all of you to realize is, go, if you have an event, or if you have something going on where you want to raise money, or if you can't get here and you want to do an online auction, call them, write them, Schur Success Group. Write them, connect them on Facebook, but find out your options, because our world has changed. And in my mind, auctioneering will help us do more with what we've got. So if you're selling something, if you've got a family member has passed away and you're getting rid of their entire house, that's what auctioneers do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until I met Rich and Shannon. I really thought they only did cattle and cars. But to find out that they can go through and piecemeal everything and put prices on stuff, and they actually know they research what the worth is of things. And then, so you don't have to, I don't know what this cup is worth, but grandma said it was really important. They'll actually tell you what it is, where it came from, what the Latin writing on it means. It's just an amazing thing what auctioneers do for you. And keep that in mind when you have any kind of I wonder if. And for those of you who are in the United States and you're looking for a car and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a new car, auctioneers also do cars. And that is magical.
If it can be sold, we'll sell it. Trust me.
They can sell anything. And that's what's so cool about it. And keep it in mind. I mean, from someone like me who I've lived around the world and never heard what an auctioneer actually was. I really thought they were cowboys in Texas, and that was it. So I'm doing a call out for all auctioneers, especially you at Schur Success Group. If you're looking for property, if you're looking for homes, if you need to get rid of something, if you want to buy a car, if you whatever, estate auctions, find them, because they will make your money far better than putting things up on, social media and say, I'm selling my car. Do you want it? I mean, just get the best bang for your buck. And remember, I highly encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah. The differences between a rut and a grave are the dimensions. If you are stepping in and you're doing the exact same thing and wondering why things aren't changing, it's up to you to make the change. That was a quote by Ellen Glasgow. I used that in my book, my first book. So, Rich, I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh and sing a song.
I was expecting you to break out in song, like,
yeah. I'm so glad we had this time together.
There you go.
Just to have a laugh or sing a song.
There you go.
What Carol Burnett used to always sing, and she was one of my heroes. And if I get my way, I get to meet that woman one day, because she is amazing.
Yes.
Rich, hug your wife for me.
I will do that.
Tell the gang in the auctioneer world, hey, Michelle said hey. And be the best version of you. And I hope I can meet you post-COVID and have lunch or dinner with both of you again. And you can make me a nice loaf of bread, because I see you've been baking.
Yes. So we will. We'll see you soon. I love you, darling. Thanks for having me on your show. It's an honor. I wish you the best of luck with this new venture you're on. And I can't wait to see what's next after this. So take care. We'll see you.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us today on Mental Shift, the world premiere of Mental Shift. And be sure to keep watching on to the new channel, because we're here to help you see the new you. See you on Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time.